Hey, spooked and intrigued listeners. I'm Paul, coming at you from the Stories Philippines podcast, where eerie tales and mysterious whispers of the night come to life. A devoted fan and seasoned reader of ours, who's now 28 years young, shared a haunting memory from the year 2000 that took place in the town of TarlaC, back when our friend, let's call her Jane, was between the ages of 11 and 13. She lived in a house nestled on her father's side of the family. With her dad often away for work, it was mostly just Jane and her mom at home. They shared the space with Jane's grandpa and grandma, as well as an older uncle who was in his mid-30s. Their cozy home had 3 bedrooms, all lined up next to each other, with Jane's room closest to the main door. Inside Jane's room, there was a large bed surrounded by glass windows, all securely closed to keep prying eyes out. Jane's mom was busy writing a letter by the dim light of a large yellow candle, probably to Jane's father, while little Jane was engrossed in her drawings. They were careful not to use the electric light. They didn't want to disturb the grandparents sleeping in the next room. As Jane and her mom sat there facing the door, with the candle casting a soft glow from its perch on a stool, something caught Jane's young eye. There was a piece of clothing hanging near the door. Curious and a bit startled, she asked her mom, whose focus was still on the letter, whose clothes were hanging there. Her mom's answer was short and distracted. "It's your dad's." But Jane couldn't shake off a gnawing fear. "Mom, why does the clothing have a hand and a foot?" she asked, her voice trembling. Picture this, a garment hanging as if suspended in air, but unlike any Jane had seen before. This one was a white outfit with a left hand missing and a right foot cut off, floating eerily without touching the floor. There was no face to be seen, just darkness where the head should be, topped with a hat. Frozen in place, it didn't stir, just leaned there by the door. The candle's light flickered, barely pushing back the shadows. Tears welled up in Jane's eyes as she realized her mom couldn't answer her questions anymore. Her mom, too, had fixed her gaze on the ghostly clothing. In their fright, they huddled together on the bed, clinging to each other for dear life. Neither dared to reach for the light switch. It was right next to the door, too close to the phantom limb. Instead, they called out to Jane's grandparents, asking if someone might have slipped inside or if the main door had been left unlocked. The uncle, tasked by the grandparents to investigate, found nothing and no one outside in the pitch darkness. Fear enveloped Jane and her mother as the candle finally gave out, leaving them in total darkness. Their embrace and the safety of the blanket were all they had until sleep mercifully took them away from their terror. The next morning, the mysterious clothing was gone. Even the hanger had vanished. The doorway was spotless. Jane's mom tried to dismiss it as a trick of the mind, suggesting it was probably just one of her dad's uniforms. But the truth soon surfaced. It was the death anniversary of one of Jane's father's older brothers, a 19-year-old soldier who had been shot and killed. Could it have been his spirit making an appearance, a silent call for prayers? That night left Jane with a newfound fear of the dark, but it was the first and last time she'd witnessed such an apparition. They later visited the soldier's lone grave at the cemetery's peak, perhaps seeking closure. So, my dear listeners of the soldier's ghostly garment in TarlaC, remember this. The shadows we glimpse and the figures that appear might just be echoes of the past, reaching out for recognition or a prayer. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, it's always good to honor and remember those we've lost with fondness and respect. Thank you, Jane, for this story. For all of you listening, may you find comfort in the light and courage in the face of the unknown. Until we meet again for another tale of the otherworldly, keep your hearts open and your candles burning bright. Good night and take care.